to have a call to order for the Town of St. John Redevelopment Commission for this 26th day of June 2024. Could we please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Beth.
Jerry Sweats.
Present.
Christian Jorgensen.
He's on his way in.
Okay.
He's
Mike Bovat.
present.
Wayne Pondinas.
Present.
Ann Oster.
Present.
Bill Manasopoulos.
Here.
Joe Svetnoff.
Here.
And Beth Hernandez, present. Christian Jorgensen is now present.
He is here. Everyone, this is Christian Jorgensen,
Sorry about that.
our good friend.
Talked to a few folks.
And we're going to, Billy, or
Yeah, so I'd like to change the order of business, Mr. President, and for you to make the presentation to the Lake Central baseball team first.
okay, I just like, I have a comment here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride and immense joy that I come here before you today to celebrate an extraordinary achievement by our very own Lake Central Indians High School baseball team. Winning the state championship is no small feat, and your triumph is a testament to your dedication, your teamwork, and your relentless pursuit of excellence. Each of you has shown remarkable skill and unwavering commitment throughout this season. Your hard work in practices, your resilience in the face of challenges, and your sportsmanship on and off the field have brought honor not just to yourselves, but to our entire community. You have demonstrated that with passion and perseverance, anything is possible. We also want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all the coaches, support staff, for your guidance, mentorship, and strategic acumen that have been instrumental in shaping these young athletes into champions. Parents and families, your support and encouragement have been the backbone of this journey, and we are deeply grateful for your unwavering belief in these students. This victory is more than just a championship win. It is a beacon of what can be achieved when you come together and strive towards a common goal. You have set a shining example, and we are proud of you today. You have set the example for your peers and for future generations. Your success will inspire others to dream big and to work hard to turn those dreams into reality. As you celebrate this monumental accomplishment, know that the entire town of St. John stands proudly with you. You have made us all incredibly proud, and we look forward to seeing your continued success both on and off the field. Congratulations once again, and thank you for bringing such honor and joy to our community. Here's to your bright future and many more victories ahead. The town council, the clerk treasurer's office, and the residents and the folks in St. John, we honor and thank you. Let's stand and give a big round of applause for the Lake Central Indians. And we are proud to have their head coach, Mike Schwartzentruber. If you would like to come up, Coach. And we know we don't have the entire team. Did you have anything that you would like to say?
On behalf of our team, we're humbled for this, having us out tonight. And, for me personally, it really hasn't set in yet. But these are the guys we got to credit. They put in the time, the effort, everything. You couldn't have said it better. I couldn't have said it better than what you did. But we're humbled by this, and we can't thank you enough. And this is a great honor for us. Thank you.
And you're very welcome. Lake Central, in recognition of your outstanding performance, Lake Central Baseball Team 2024 IHSAA 4A State Champions, presented on this 26th day of June 2024 by the town of St. John. Young men, you come up here and stand with your coach, Coach Mike. Thank you very much. Very honored.
Nice. Where's Coach?
They're No, I'm just waiting for them to all stop moving.
Sorry, buddy.
We're used to this.
All right.
Coaches, more coaches.
Okay, who's ever the best looking, smile.
Thank you.
Hey guys, real quick, Strack and Van Tills, because you're champions, they've donated cupcakes in the back. And I know you're probably not hungry, but help yourselves to the cupcakes. And you guys are welcome to leave. You guys are welcome to leave. Get the cupcakes. Enjoy yourselves. Coach Mike, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Great honor. Thank you.
And we're honored to have you.
Congratulations.
I know we got a little chatter in the back there, but that's okay. I think we can move to item 4, approval of minutes for the May 22nd, 2024 meeting minutes. Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0. Item 5, we have new business. A public meeting, discussion regarding residential housing development and program plans. This is an open floor for the public for this new business.
So, Mr. President, Phil Frisenda is going to open up with some brief comments. I'll give a little bit of an overview, and then we'll go ahead and open the floor to the questions and to the public.
Okay, Billy, go ahead.
Phil?
Members of the commission, Phil Facenda from Bars of Thornburg, South Bend, Indiana. As was stated, this is a public meeting as required by Indiana statute in connection with the establishment of 5 new residential housing tax increment finance areas. What will transpire during the meeting, I'll give a brief overview. The town manager will then give a short summary of each of the areas. We have myself and representatives from Baker Tilly, the town's municipal advisor, and also representatives of the developer, if there are any questions from the commissioners. And we will also then open the public meeting. Under Indiana statute, it is specifically called a public meeting as opposed to a public hearing, but it functions very similar to a public hearing. So with that, I'll ask the town manager to please give some overview of the different areas.
Okay. Thank you, Phil. So the first one is the Gates of St. John Unit 30 and 31. That'll be the southwest allocation area, 1, 2, and 3. The Gates of St. John Units 30 and 31, located in the southeast quadrant of the intersection of US 231 and Parish, is an approximate 17-acre site consisting of approximately 210 residential dwelling units, which will be owner-occupied. The residential units are designed in such a way to support the future commercial that will be located to the north and will contain a various restaurant and service-oriented businesses. The housing will service the needs of the town with the outside seating, being provided at any restaurant that uses, and as well as a convenient walkability to all the businesses. It is estimated that development will require a total infrastructure investment of approximately $6.5 million, a housing investment in the community of about $63 million, and an increased assessed value of the town by approximately $69 million at full build-out. All the housing units will be members of a HOA association, which will take care of all the maintenance with little or no impact to the town services. Unit 17B, or allocation area 17B, is located in the Gates of St. John. It is in the northeast quadrant of the intersection of US 231 and Park Place. It's approximately 7.6 acre site consisting of 75 residential dwelling units that will be assessed after January 1st, 2024. The residential dwelling units are designed to service the housing needs of the community, are conveniently located adjacent to the future commercial project that will be walkable for all the residents. The walkability of the service-oriented commercial business is the goal of the community and outlined in our comprehensive plan. It is estimated that the development will require a total infrastructure investment of approximately $2.4 million, a housing investment of the community of approximately $23,625,000, based on 75 units, and an increase in the assessed value of the town by approximately $36.5 million at full build-out. All the housing units will be members of a homeowners association, which will take care of the maintenance with little or no impact on the town services. EDA 3, allocation area 3, consists of what is commonly known as the Gates of St. John East, located east of Klein and south of 101st and 231. The site consists of approximately 225 acres of single-family detached housing units. It's estimated that between 370 and 390 dwelling units will be assessed after January 1st. The residential units are designed to service the housing needs of the community and are conveniently located near the town of Cherville and the city of Crown Point. It is estimated that development will require a total infrastructure of approximately $25.5 million, a housing investment in the community of approximately $148 million based upon the 370 units, and increased assessed value of the town of $240 million at full build-out. All the housing units will be members of a homeowner association and will not take, will take little maintenance and no impact to the town of St. John. With that being said, we have, obviously, we met Phil Facenda, Greg Balsano, and Steve Kill from the developer of LBL to field any other questions that anyone else may have. And I suggest we open the meeting to the public now also.
The meeting is now open to the public. If anybody would like to speak in regards to this, please give us your name and address.
Will do, Mr. Bovat.
Thank you.
Ed Marson, 10704 Arbor Lane. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the time to speak to you. Just some questions as I was formulating these at home. I appreciate the brief overview, Bill, that you just gave right now. In regard to areas 2 and 3, I would imagine since these are going to be residential TIF districts, all the monies collected from the real estate taxes for Hanover School Corporation, are any of these monies either some, none, or all going to be returned to the school corporation? If some, what percentage will that be? Has there been any monies earmarked towards infrastructure at this time? I think the first development you mentioned was LBL's development that's on the southeast corner of 231 and Parish Road between Parish and Park Place. Is there any monies earmarked at this time for that? How would that work? Is that something that the developer comes in and then puts the infrastructure in and then, of course, is reimbursed through these bonds? Or is there another way that that's done? And let's see. Last question I have, has the town of St. John ever created a residential TIF district in the last 4.5 years? If so, where is this TIF district located? And did the developer receive any bond money, and how much was related to infrastructure related to that development? And those are my questions.
Thank you, Ed.
So I can touch on a couple of those, Ed, since you're going to be here. As far as the schools, I have been in contact with the affected school districts. We are in talks. Numbers are being exchanged, and at some point, we will be coming to an agreement. To give you a percentage now is just something off the top of my head, so I won't even start with that. Your second question, the first two, units 17B and the units 30 and 31 are developer bought bonds. So yes, you were right on that. And then I can get you some breakdown details of infrastructure costs altogether. But I could, again, we have members of LBL who's doing the development, Phil and Greg also, that can answer some of those questions. Okay.
Has the town ever had a residential TIF district in the last 4.5 years?
So yes, the Sterling,
St. John Commons,
St. John Commons was,
That's the east side of Calumet Avenue, South 101st.
correct.
yes.
And
It-
what percentage did the developer get out of that bond?
I want to say it was a 60/40.
Not positive, that sounds about right.
I believe.
That's correct, Beth.
Was this-
Understandable, approximately. So was the 60 our favor, was the 60 developer's favor?
Developer's favor, right?
Developer's favor.
Okay. Is that, I'm just curious, sir, is that something that you see, that you've probably done a lot of these in the past? Is that something that's sort of out of the norm for giving that much to a developer for infrastructure?
No, actually, the larger number towards the developer is more normal. Because the TIF bonds function similar to a tax abatement. And so it's an incentive to the developer to develop, and it is assist them with being able to actually undertake the project in the first place. And so, and in essence, because they're the buyer of the bonds, they're essentially getting a portion of their property taxes back, and the part that the towns retain is subject to the negotiation with the developer.
All right. Thank you for that, Phil. Any other questions?
I have something that I'd like to, as a resident and a teacher prior to becoming clerk in 2016, I do want to ensure that as you're making decisions on this, Hanover is a growing school corporation. We are growing leaps and bounds, so I certainly hope that you make it a priority in these development areas to give a percentage back to Hanover in the schools.
Appreciate that, yes. And I think that's something that we will be looking at.
we are, like I said, we're in talks with these school districts.
But pressing a little bit more on just talks, I would like to make sure that I get it on public record that it's more than just talking. I want to make sure in these agreements that we're giving something back to the Hanover School Corporation. They're growing by leaps and bounds, and we want to make sure that they're also taken care of as they grow along with us.
Absolutely.
And I'm confident that we will do that, Beth.
So, Mr. President, I have a comment as well. I don't know why we need to even have a residential TIF unless that's a zone or an area that is age restricted. I mean, if you've got a TIF area for residential, that means that the money that should be going to the school, we're just taking away from the school. Now, you can negotiate, you can promise, you can talk and things like that. But as far as I'm concerned, there's really no reason to even have a TIF in that area. The kids live there, the kids go to school there, but yet the schools aren't going to be able to appreciate that. And to incentivize the developer in a situation like that, I just disagree with. If it's a commercial development, I'm all in favor of making sure that the right infrastructure is in place. When it comes to a residential development, I just don't think that we should be underwriting or taking up bonds to subsidize that. Just my thoughts.
And I think this is a buildup of what we've done, since 2021, and we're enhancing it. Again, the schools are going to be addressed to Beth's point and to Jerry's point here. Those will be done. And then again, everything else and being a senior council, the cost of public safety and everything else. So that's also what we're looking at.
All right, thank you for that, Billy. Any other questions, comments?
Since nobody approached, I do want to ask.
We have your name.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, Terry A. Nelleman. My current address is 9500 West 103rd Place, St. John, Indiana. 24-year resident here, so I've been around for a while. But the question I have is the city clerk brought up a good point about protecting the funding for the Hanover schools. As far as the Hanover schools are concerned, what percentage, not what percentage, but how can we make sure that the school is not benefiting, but getting taken care of with these funds because of who is going to give up or, let's say, give up toward the school district their funding? That's in appropriation, it's not appropriation, but with these funds involved. So the question is, to the city clerk's question, what percentage would come from who? Would it be coming from the town council's portion or the developer's portion, that $60-40 amount? The question is who? Where's it coming from? Is it coming from equally, a percentage, or is it coming from out of the city's 40% or out of the developer's 60%?
Okay. You know what, Phil, would you mind kind of speaking to the impact of TIFs on the schools? I'm going to have Mr. Phil speak.
Oh, no problem. That's
Right behind you.
good. But Phil, if you can, please just make sure you answer that question, because boy, that hit the heart when Beth asked that question. I'm sorry, the city clerk.
Yeah.
So it's my understanding that in the town, with their discussions with the two school districts.
And they are?
What's that? Crown Point and Hanover? Yeah, and so there's discussion right now. Basically, the way that property taxes will work, or TIF anyway, is that all of the, once captured, all of the property tax goes into the TIF area, okay? And the Redevelopment Commission is the governing body over the St. John TIF district, okay? Essentially, it depends on what is agreed to with the school districts, and that will come off the top. So if you're talking about 100% of the TIF and some percentage is agreed to be remitted to the school district, then that percentage will be reduced from 100%, whatever. Okay.
That sounds fine, but the biggest point is what will the town and the developer be dividing up here, as far as for the school districts, for sure?
Whatever remains after the school district's percentage.
With that answer, now you know why Beth is looking for everything in writing. I think that's
Sure.
a very good suggestion, Mrs. Hernandez.
Phil, is there a percentage cap on what can be given back to the schools?
Okay, so the schools, the one restrictive factor with regard to schools is that you can only remit to the schools what is allowed by the TIF statute.
Right.
So the TIF statute basically allows for, I'll call them STEM type of programs. There's additional language in the statute, but because the schools are so involved in those types of activities, it's usually not a question, of geez, we don't have enough expenses of the school district to, cover whatever is agreed to be remitted. But that's the only restriction. It's essentially, you could not just, without justification under the statute, you could not just write a check to the school district. You have to fit it within the permissible expenses.
So like technology and things like that?
Exactly. Technology. Science, yes. So for instance, I'll use an example, one that's used all the time with regard to school districts. iPads. Completely acceptable expenditure, and every school district wants iPads. Okay, so that's just an example, but there are numerous examples. So.
All right, thank you, Phil.
Sure.
Any other questions or comments? Ed?
Thank you, Mr. Bovet. I just want to Beth's point, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, I just want to say this, that, and I know, Bill, you will work out the amount with the school district and so forth, and I hope that will be transparent to the community. The most important thing, this is what's circling in my head, President Bovet, recently, and of course, this is not the same situation. In regard to the Hammond school system, where, of course, they needed to close 3 schools, their operational referendum question didn't pass. Also, Lake Station operation referendum didn't pass again last year. And, of course, we have an operation referendum that's 29 cents per $100 assessed value for the Hanover school system. And, once again, we're talking only about specific areas. We're not talking about the entire area of St. John. I just want to make sure that whatever we can do to give money back to those schools, because we know that those referendum questions might go up from the 29 cents in 2027. Don't know, but there's a good possibility, so we don't strap them for cash, and that the end result is they're taken care of, because otherwise it gets to a point where it's another referendum, and with people and the way the economy's going, they might just say no, and then we go in a reverse aspect here where people start leaving the community because the class sizes starts going up. These are all just talking things out, Ms. President Bovet. I'm just saying to please, as Beth said, do your very best to, of course, whatever is within the realm to take care of these schools. Thank you.
And
Thank you,
And
Ed.
just again, with each new student that comes in, there's a per student amount that the state gives them.
That's correct.
So on top of that, and again, with our negotiations with them, we shouldn't see anything that's going to be detrimental to them.
Well, I do know that the 29 cents that is taken out of my taxes, that funds 25 teachers out of that operational referendum for Hannity Community School District. So once again, it's buses as well and some other things, so just, that's,
Right.
what it is, everyone. So I'm sorry, just went
No,
on
no.
my piece. President Bovet, that's all.
Thank you. We appreciate everyone's input and concerns, everyone. Any other questions or comments?
Just the last comment, I just want to thank Mr. Menisopoulos for changing of the program here this evening so that the Lake Central School kids could get out of here instead of listening to everything.
Yes,
Thank you
absolutely.
very much. That was a very good idea, Mr. Menisopoulos.
Again, yeah, thank you, Billy. That was good insight. All right, with that, the public meeting, Phil?
We can close it. Just one clarifying point, and I was asked by one of the audience members. To the extent that people didn't realize this, when TIF is new tax increment, okay? So the existing base of taxes for all of those areas, it's only after the declaration that the new taxes that come in as a result of additional development after the declaratory resolution would be adopted and approved at a later meeting. It's only the new taxes that are affected, okay, not the existing taxes. So existing taxes are not taken away from the school corporations, if you will, or what have you. Okay, I just wanted to make that clarifying point. So,
Okay, thank you.
yep.
Yes, Mr. Gregg, you could identify yourself, please?
Yes, sir. My name is Greg Balsano with Baker Tilly Municipal Advisors. And just to add on to Phil's point there about the new taxes, the other item I wanted to note is TIF cannot capture school referendum funds. So if that referendum were to ever change or be different, As it stands today, TIF cannot capture that portion of the tax rate. So that portion of the assessed value would still flow through to that referendum fund.
Thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
With that, the public meeting is now closed, and we're going to move on to item 6 on the agenda, resolutions. A, consider resolution 2024-06-26-1, a resolution of the St. John Redevelopment Commission approving further amendments to the declaratory resolution and economic development plan for St. John Economic Development Area 2, including without limitation, establishing a residential housing program and all matters related thereto. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Resolution carries 4-1. Resolution B, consider resolution 2024-06-26-2, a resolution of the St. John Redevelopment Commission declaring an area in the town of St. John, Lake County, Indiana, as an economic development area to be known as St. John Residential Economic Development Area 3, approving an economic development plan for said area, establishing a residential housing program and all matters related thereto. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion. I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Item 7, old business. Any old business? Item 8, reports and correspondences. Any reports or correspondences? Item 9, any other public comment?
Again, Terry Nellerman. Quick question in regards to LBL Development. They will be the people developing this property from start to finish? Cradle to grave? Yes or no? That's the question.
It'll be an ongoing development. I mean, we can get back to you with the details, Terry?
Well, somebody, I believe Phil mentioned LBL, because I have it in my notes here. So is LBL the developer from cradle to grave with this project?
Yes, Terry.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, moving to item 10, motion for adjournment.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Call to order for the Town of St. John Town Council meeting for June 26, 2024. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll have a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And a moment of silence, please, if you could remain standing. I know there's a lot of calamity that's been happening recently with the shootings and violence, and just keep these families in mind. Thank you. You may be seated. Roll call, Beth?
Gerald Swetz,
Present.
Christian Jorgensen.
Present.
Mike Bovat,
Here?
Wayne Pondinas.
Present.
Ann Oster. Present. Bill Manasopoulos,
Here.
Joe Svetnov. Here. And Beth Hernandez, present.
Item 5, approval of minutes for A, February 28th, 2024 Town Council minutes, B, for May 22nd, 2024 Town Council minutes, and C, June 19th, 2024 study session minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll second.
I have a motion, I have a second for approval of the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And we've already had the presentation for the phenomenal Lake Central Indian baseball team, state champions.
Public comment? You passed up public comment?
I sure did. Thank you for that. Item number 4, public comment. Any public comment?
You have the list.
I did not grab it. I meant to
I'll
grab
get
it.
it for you, sir.
Oh, I got it.
One of the most important documents you received it. Yes, sir.
I do apologize, and we do have public comments. First on the list is Laura Ban. Barr? Okay. If you could please come forward, state your name, and give us your address, please, Ms. Laura?
Yes, I was also looking, because I was looking online, and you're not streaming this. Is anybody aware that you're not streaming this on YouTube?
So it is being recorded. We'll see why it's not streaming, but a record is being made, and it
Okay.
will be posted also.
Okay, I have someone recording, so that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, good evening. I brought the 2021 assault and false arrest of my husband to the attention of the Metropolitan Police Commission during their June 12th meeting, video of which is available on the Town of St. John's YouTube page. Last October, Police Chief Stephen Flores, previous town council members, and the previous town manager were served notice of a civil suit that identified officers Shane Adams, Arthur Sandaker, Brett Seidenbender, and Chief Flores as being complicit in the violation of my husband's civil rights.
Yes.
Despite having been first to report the dispatch
Yes.
that he was en route to the 2021
Hey.
call.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm going to let the attorney speak at this moment. Mr. Svetnov, could you please speak?
Yeah, if this is pending litigation right now, which we're going through, I suggest no public comment be made on this.
Oh, it's freedom of speech. I can speak.
It's free speech.
I
It's
think
free
he was
speech.
he
I
was
can
referring
speak.
to- He was referring to the council members.
Okay, you can speak to items.
Advising us.
And typically, Ms.
These are held to agenda topics only.
These
Yeah,
are-
agenda topics, and if you're going to speak on the agenda
This
topics.
has to do with, I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it.
Okay, but like.
It
the
does,
attorney
it's
said-
pertinent. If you can listen to this, it's pertinent to it. I have the right for freedom of speech.
Which agenda topic is it?
It's about how our information was not passed over from the police chief and the town council about our lawsuit.
No, I'm looking at the
But that's not
agenda.
on
What
our
agenda?
agenda.
What agenda?
I was told when I called that we just sign in on a sheet and that we state our name, and that was it. They didn't tell me I had to submit an agenda.
No, you
You
don't
don't.
submit agenda.
This is our agenda.
Okay?
Pardon me, Mr. President. This is our agenda. So public comment is limited to our agenda that we have here.
I don't think so.
Since when have we done that? I haven't
Since when
noticed
have
that
we
we've
done that? Exactly.
We've not limited that as
Right.
long as I can remember.
Right, and it's also,
That is the law.
no, it's
No, it's
not.
not.
It's,
Yeah,
no, it's
actually-
not. It's on the, no, it's on the town council meetings. You watch them on the YouTube.
Okay, ma'am.
That's not
I
true.
I respect what you're saying. You have 3 minutes and continue.
This is
with
less
the-
than 3 minutes.
Okay, continue with your discussion.
Despite having been first to report to dispatch that he was en route to 2021 call, Seidenbender lurked down our street in his police car until Adams and Sandaker had abducted my husband. While transporting my husband to the police station, Seidenbender vindictively asked my husband, Do you remember me? Since the notice of the lawsuit in October, Adams was rewarded by being hired as the fire chief, and Sandaker was rewarded with a promotion to corporal. Prior to taking office this year, this town council had already arranged with Adams to hire him as the police chief. They even reduced the fire chief position from full-time to part-time to accommodate his full-time role with the police department. That would have made the fire chief position less desirable to viable candidates, if there were any other viable candidates. Notwithstanding the St. John Metropolitan Police Commission's role of approving promotions, they claimed that they were not aware of the lawsuit. The current town council appointed the members of the Metropolitan Police Commission at the beginning of this year, but at least 2 council members withheld information about the lawsuit from them. It was also withheld by Chief Flores, who proposed the promotion of Sandaker. Last year, previous town manager Joe Wizawati, Chief Flores, and the previous town council of Mike Aurelio, Brian Blazak, Wayne Pondinas, Michael Schilling, and Gerald Sweats surreptitiously withheld it from the safety board. The 2 members of the safety board were appointed to the Metropolitan Police Commission. There have been no other promotions within the police department since the lawsuit was filed, which is not a coincidence. Rewarding corruption took priority over the best interests of St. John. It is my civic duty to expose corruption in St. John's government and police force. It is this town council has any integrity, it must eliminate this corruption from the police and fire departments. Retention of these corrupt individuals implicates this town council in the corruption.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Laura. Second on the list, and I hope that I have this right, is Francis Reeder? Ryder? And if you could just state your name and your address also, please, thank you.
So I apologize. My name is Barbara Levan. Nice to meet you, Mr.
Okay.
Ovey.
Yes.
I'm speaking for Francis Reeder. I am one of the board members with Saddle Creek Subdivision, and a couple of my concerns is Helt Park, which we had brought up. I have never got an answer as far as where we stand on with the parks, as far as the parks being, the equipment being replaced. So I would like an answer on that. We have pictures of the park equipment that somebody could get hurt on, the baby swing. It has a crack in the seat. There has been some vandalism at our park. I would like to know if the police department could come by and patrol it, because they did come out. This is a picture of what the help did with one of the slides. It looks like it's been vandalized as well. It was not properly addressed as far as being repaired. They did clean up the vandalism that's been on the rocks. And what we are asking for as a board at Saddle Creek is permission, and I do have pictures of the tree, the bushes that were supposedly to be cut and were not. If the Saddle Creek board could cut the bushes to where we would like them to be, and if we could get permission for, I don't know if it's the park department, who would come out and shred whatever we would leave at the side of the street.
So, I'm sorry, Mr. President. After our first or second conversation, I did speak with the park department, and obviously I knew you were coming, you sent me an email. So
Sure.
I pulled a couple pictures, just a recap of what we had. We cut back the overage and the growth there on the walking path. If you can go to the next one there, Jack. So that's not coming out into the sidewalk to where people can still walk. If you can go to the next one. Same thing, keep clicking. That was all done by the park department probably about a week and a half.
Right.
Roughly. They did also get to the graffiti. Now, if something else was put on there, I'll have them check it out again.
No, this was done by the Parks Department. They sprayed
So
the
that was a
green paint.
base, so you know, the white was a base, and then they were trying to color match what was originally on there. And like I said, the pictures are up there, and they're trying to find a best match. It's not a one-day thing where, you know, it's gonna be perfect, but it is a work in process, and your concerns are being met. And again, after our 4th of July celebration, we have allotted some more guys out there to finish up.
So could we get permission to cut the bushes lower, or?
So trimming, I wouldn't have a problem, and again, we'll be out there after the July 5th celebration, and if you like, that's where we power wash the sign there.
Right.
But we can have you come by and give us a couple ideas of what you like. As far as removing it or cutting it all the way down, that's not something we're going to do, but
Right.
we will gladly have you out there and give us a couple of pointers of how to do it.
Okay, would another board member be able to be presented, to go out there when they are out there? Because I apologize.
More the
I work-
merrier, that way we don't have to,
Okay.
keep going one person at a time.
Okay, because they're, behind the pavilion, those trees were supposed to be cut, and if you, where that is.
Right.
Right there, they weren't.
Right.
And if you walk further west,
Those are, yeah.
there's some trees that still need to be cut because the branches are sticking out on
Right.
the,
And like I said, it's a work in progress. Obviously, they have other parks they attend to also, but you're one of our first priorities.
okay. When could I be let known as far as where Hope Park stands, as far as the playground equipment being replaced?
So
Or on
we-
the,
Okay, and not to cut you off, but if you could, and respectfully, Billy, he'll contact you, and then he'll get those from you, the questions you have. We have other people that are going to speak also, Barb.
okay, one other thing, so we are having to manage the wetlands. Is there any consideration that we can get to get help or assistance with monies? Because it's draining us, and our board may no longer exist because of that, because we don't have the funds.
So, and that was, and I think we spoke on the phone, that's something else I'm looking into to see how we can help out either from
Okay.
us or through an outside organization that's looking to do some charitable work.
Okay, so if we could maybe have a meeting separately?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Barb.
And don't go anywhere yet. Stay up there.
Yes, sir.
About 4 years ago, we had summer help. We brought that in when we got elected. And then the town council that I was on, they got rid of the summer help. So you didn't have anybody working on there. I've been on those trails with Gabe Hernandez and the people that were working before. They were high school kids, college kids. And they decided they didn't want me as liaison. They didn't want, they abolished the park board and they abolished the summertime help. You'd have more people, but some people on the town council didn't want that. And they were out there. They worked all the fields. That mulch that's underneath all them bushes, that was done there by high school kids. But they did away with it. So, I mean, it's not we're trying to ignore that, and I can see that they were out there, but they try and cover 29 different parks. And I see what happened out there, but the college kids and the high school kids were doing that. Now we brought those kids back, and we brought the program back. So hopefully, this year, we can help straighten out your park and the other parks that are in town.
We greatly appreciate that. Anything,
We're gonna-
any consideration would be most helpful. But it's just like with the baby swing, it does have a crack in it. I mean, and it is a growing park with kids going out there, and I would hate to see somebody get hurt in that
Absolutely.
baby swing and have their rear end or their leg cut.
And we
But
thank
thank you.
you. Thank you for letting us know and
Yep.
keeping us informed.
All right, thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Mary Ann Rooney,
I just signed in, I'm not going to say anything.
okay. Cecil Petro? Cecile?
Thank you.
I apologize.
All right.
I'm going to blame your writing.
8541 Fairway Drive. Tonight I want to speak to an issue that was brought up at your study session. There, thank you. And thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'm speaking about the billboard issue that came before you in your study session. Billboards are an eyesore in the community with no redeeming value. The public in general does not want billboards. In a 2019 study by the American Institute of Applied Politics, it was found that in Utah, 75% of the respondents agreed with this statement: billboards are a total eyesore in our community, and they have no redeeming value. 79% of the respondents disagreed with this statement: billboards are simply a form of advertisement, no better, no worse than another form. 72% said they strongly supported a total ban on billboards. Similar results were found in Texas, Arizona, and Nevada. Installing billboards puts commercial interests over the development of a pleasant town environment. In a study by urban planner Jonathan Snyder entitled Beyond Aesthetics, how billboards affect economic prospects, he found that in Philadelphia, there is a correlation between homes within 500 feet of billboards and the decrease of home values. Homes were worth $30,000 less on the average than those further away. In this proposal, or in St. John's ordinance, it allows 600 feet within a residential district. It also allows larger, the sign that is currently under discussion is larger than our current ordinance. Also in the study, it says U.S. cities with stricter billboard controls have greater median incomes, lower poverty rates, lower home vacancy rates than those cities with less strict billboard controls. Carmel, Indiana, for example, severely limits billboard signage. Thus, billboards in our economic development areas may discourage the types of upscale development that this town is trying to encourage. Billboards also run 24/7. You don't turn them off. They cause light pollution. Billboards usually promote larger corporations and larger businesses over smaller local businesses because of the cost associated with the lease. Billboards utilize a large amount of electricity, even though they operate with LEDs now. And billboards also harm and confuse wildlife, primarily birds. Although the town may profit by the addition of this billboard in the short term, in the long term, the town may pass through the loss of future desired development. $10,000 a year lease is not good enough reason to allow this kind of signage in our town. For these reasons, I humbly ask that the town council further review this proposal on the placement of billboards in our town. In addition, I would like the Plan Commission to review its current ordinance on billboard signage and eliminate these signs entirely. Thank you for providing the time for me to speak. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking. Luis Talent? If you could just please state your name and address. Thank you.
Certainly. And also with me is a cohort.
Cher Cosgrove.
And my address is 2723 Sycamore Drive, Dyer, Indiana.
And I'm at 5041 West 75th Avenue in Cherville, Indiana.
Okay.
And thank you very much for your time, town council members and also employees of St. John Township and this town, and also any guests that we have here this evening. I am apologizing in that I did know that I probably should have emailed the town manager to indicate, or any one of our members here. In the past, we've been able to come as representatives for the Lake Central Education Foundation to be able to speak. So is that still okay with this group?
Of course, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Typically, it's like a 3 minutes, so.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, we just want to make sure, because that is the whole goal, to follow protocol for our wonderful guests and opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
We are members of the Lake Central Education Foundation, and in March, we did send a letter to each one of our town council members, hoping that there would be an interest in being able to donate to the Lake Central Ed Foundation. And with that, though, we just wanted to let you know that we do appreciate any attention that you can give to that, and some of the things that have happened through the fundraising efforts of the foundation, which affect Lake Central schools and the students and teachers in our, in our area.
And in our handout, we just wanted to let you know, be aware of our website, let you know that our foundation's central mission is to enhance innovative educational opportunities for the students of Lake Central School Corporation. Just wanted to let you know that we're coming up on our 61st round of grants, and we're very proud of that.
If anybody's interested in the website, that is, information is given in the handout for you folks. It does reflect what is going on in the Tri-Town area for the Lake Central schools, and we were very thankful also to hear of your interest and concern for our sister school corporation in Hanover and also in Crown Point. So thank you for that. If you'll look at the handout on, let's see, it's page 4, you'll see there the last grant round, which is round 60. We were able to help out and enhance student learning for at least 15 teachers within our school corporation, and the grant amount was like $750 per teacher. So it was a sizable grant that was given. And then our last in Denver, and Beth, thank you, yes, for your support, that we were able to give over $8,600 some dollars for a touch screen for our war memorial, and that picture is on page 5. And we have had a meeting about that touchscreen. It will be interactive and will provide an opportunity for residents to come and note the people that are Gold Star individuals that have walked through the halls of Lake Central High School over the years and gave their lives, so that we have the educational freedoms that we have. Other smaller grants are given, and one of them that was given was to provide tricycles for our special ed students and those students that have special needs in the Bibbage School. So there's one picture of that. So our grant money, if you're considering giving to us, would be very much appreciated. It does go to, like I say, to enhance student learning, and our teachers are the ones that write the grants, et cetera. If you have any questions, you can contact me for sure. And thank you again for your time and for your interest, and town council members, and also, yes, that are here. Yes.
So I'd just like to say thank you. My son is a student in the Lake Central school system who has special needs, and you guys do an amazing job.
Oh, thank you. And we do have a lot of people that move to our area because of the wonderful student support system that is provided at LC. And of course, we're really proud of that baseball team too. I have to put that plug in there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your presentation. Thank you. So Cher, we already got to you because you came up with her, but you guys signed separately. All right. So we're through the public comment, going back to the agenda.
I'm on the public comment.
I didn't see you.
Take a look at the bottom.
All the way at the bottom, okay. Mr. Nelman?
Thank you.
Again, my name is Terry Nelleman, address 9500 West 103rd Place, St. John, 24-year resident here. Biggest problem we have is that we have had is been with members of the town council in the past. I'm not going to mention a name, okay? The gentleman knows who he is. And it concerns LBL, basically Lawton's groups of his corporations or whatever. And it pertains directly to the building of homes that the town was provided with documents and court documents about Mr. Lawton and his groups of businesses or whatever that brought me to court in regards to putting up a public service warning in regards to the bad structures of that Lennar was building, the structural problems with the Lennar homes. LBL Lawton decided that he took me to court for the wrong reason, because I had a public service warning hanging in my garage and not concerned at all with the problems with the homes. So basically, Mr. Sweats and Mr. Ponderas has those original documents, but at that time, Mr. Sweats was the president of the town council. Mr. Sweats was responsible for what went on and what was able to continue to go on. I highly stress to be very, very careful with anything with the Lawton Group, because he abandoned the homeowners, your constituents, your taxpayers, your neighbors, your voters. So please, Mr. Sweats, I'm sure would be glad to give you all those documents, unless there's a problem with the legal department here. I don't know why that would not be able to be distributed between the town council members. If by any chance there is a legal problem, that it cannot be spread to the existing town council in regards to the concealing of these documents from federal authorities, and at that time I stated the FBI. That's how deep this gets. Lennar, Lawton, and these homes just kept going up. And the one thing is this home that I own, it's not for sale. I'm going nowhere. I have got the Lennar smoking
30 seconds,
done.
sir.
Thank you, Mr. Boat. I know I did go over, but please, Lennar, I'm sorry, not Lennar, but Lawton Group and his companies, or whatever, please review all the documents that Mr. Sweats has, Mr. Ponderas has, unless they were taken from him. If not, I will be glad to redistribute all the documents that was given to the building department and also to the Hammond Times. I'm a phone call away. Police department's got my number. You guys got my number, okay?
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And with that, we're going to move to agenda item number 7A, financial matters of the corporation. Consider requests to purchase. There are a total of 12 requests to purchase and a combined total of $134,171.90 for approval. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I've reviewed it, and I so move.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against, say nay. Jerry, did you comment?
Yeah, I'm aye.
Okay. Motion carries 5-0. Number 2, accounts payable voucher dated June 26, 2024, representing payment for payroll, supplies, services, and equipment rendered to the town of St. John, and the combined total of $3,491,283.24. Do I have a motion for payment?
Mr. President, I've reviewed it, and I so move.
I'll second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Moving to B on ordinances and resolutions. Consider Resolution 2024-06-26, a resolution of the St. John Town Council to approve a fiscal plan and policy for proposed annexation of a parcel of real property to the town of St. John, Lake County, Indiana.
Mr. President, so moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion. I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Consider ordinance 1830, an ordinance annexing real estate to the town of St. John, Family Express, on second reading.
Mr. President, so moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Mr. President, if I may add something here, just before we get to our item 3, I would move for adoption of a motion to authorize the town council president, yourself, to sign any and all documents necessary to effectuate the intent of the annexation ordinances.
Support that.
Mr. President, that's just a bit of housekeeping that needs to be done.
Okay. All right, I appreciate that, Mr. Vice President Christian Jorgensen. And we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Councilman Sweat's already second.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I have a motion and a second, and this is for the president to sign?
Yep.
All right?
All you.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 3, consider ordinance 1835, an ordinance of the town of St. John, Lake County, Indiana, designating areas within the town as economic development target areas, and this is on first reading only. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President, motion to move on first reading.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I guess a question and maybe even a comment.
Okay.
So I want to make sure I understand we're voting on here. This is all of these residential districts, which include the East Gates, the 120 row houses, I think that's 17B, the age-restricted TIF of Sterling and Orchard Gate. Then we're adding the corridor of 109th, where there's commercial there, and the 200 row houses behind that. We're making that all one economic development area. I guess I'm confused because section 1 here of the findings, it says all these residential areas have become undesirable or impossible for normal development and occupancy because of lack of development, cessation of growth, blah, 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 blah. I think this is ridiculous that we're incentivizing this developer for no reason other than because you want to. It just makes no sense to me at all. Ordinances 1835 and then 1836, we're actually going to borrow money to let them add on to the development, the residential development. I have a problem with, especially since we don't even have a time frame of how many jobs this is going to give us, what the time frame of completion is going to be, which is similar to what we did when we did an economic development agreement with Mr. Boyer. So I'm opposed to this totally. Thank
Mr.
you.
President, I would just say that just adopting these ordinances doesn't mean it doesn't have to go through the proper approval process, and these things have to be worked out. And try to speculate on the items that Councilman Sweats brought up would be purely speculative at this time.
I appreciate you gentlemen for your comments.
They're in the agreement. They're in the ordinance. I only read what was in the ordinance.
I understand.
Okay.
It's still.
Okay, that's fine.
It has to be worked.
I'm not
It has
going
to
to
be
work back and
through
forth.
it.
Okay.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
The second was made
It was made?
on 1835.
Okay.
Councilman Jorgensen made the motion. Councilman Pondinas seconded it.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. And Mr. Phil, did you have a comment?
I was only, wanted to clarify that the council wasn't taking final action. This first reading only. Okay.
Right, and Mr. Jorgensen was speaking to that also, so
Okay.
thank you so much for that. Item 4, consider ordinance 1836, an ordinance of the town of St. John, Lake County, Indiana, authorizing the town to issue one or more series of its economic development revenue bonds relating to housing projects to be located in the St. John Economic Development Area 2, and approving and authorizing other actions in respect thereof. Do I have a motion for first reading here for ordinance 1836?
So moved on first reading, Mr. President.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1 on first reading. Moving to C, Town Council action. Consider approval of agreement with Furman Uzita Janitorial Services LTD to include additional service areas for $2,837.50 a month with additional $240 a week as needed.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 2, consider approving the police department to list for sale a 2012 Dodge Charger 4-door, VIN number 2C3CDXATXCH240356 on the State of Indiana's public auction site.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 3, consider appointment to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Billy?
At this time, Mr. President, I'd like to submit Rudy Bambick for the open position after Paul Hobbs' resignation for the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Okay, consider
Okay.
appointment of Rudy Bambick.
Mr. President, I would move to appoint Mr. Bambick to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Number 4, consider approval of agreement with Trust Tech for retainer professional services in the amount of $5,000.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 5, consider approval of reduction of surety bond for Streamside subdivision in the amount of $28,028. Favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Consider approval of City by App settlement in the amount of $9,998.
So moved on that.
Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Item 7, consider approval of agreement with Jeff Bennett, Macaulay Commercial.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 8, consider motion to approve millstone change order for the 2023-1 CCMG paving improvements from $2,190,137.85 to $2,110,211.97, a decrease of $79,925.88.
So moved, Mr. President. I'd like to see who would nay that one.
There you go. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 9, consider motion to approve millstone change order for the 2023 93rd Avenue extra work from $275,605.95 to $279,579.99, an increase of $3,974.04.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Reports and correspondence, item 8A, town council members. Any reports, comments, correspondence?
Yeah, I'd like to comment.
Mr. Pondinas?
On well 8 and the item permits, I see Robinson Engineering's here. I know Dave, if you want to come up to the podium, we have been working hard on that, and I think the item permits have come in, but we had a permit and we let it expire. And now you've done the paperwork. How soon before we get this complete? I mean, I know you can't control item, but it's kind of the utmost importance to get well 8 and 9 going. We bought the pipe a long time ago, we meaning the town, and we were going to do 500 feet or 600 feet, and that was to go from Holy Shepherd Church, no, not Shepherd, with a church that's on Parkway, and do the 600 feet to go in the building, and the permit just lapsed. I mean, it's not good to do that. You guys came in almost 2 years ago, so what kind of timeline do we have? I know we had a schedule, but we're kind of behind on that. I don't want to put you on the spot, but we need to know kind of how much more time can we expect before we get water flowing through that pipe?
Correct. Dave Schilling, Robinson Engineering. The original permit was actually just to drill the wells, so we would have needed a new permit to construct the well houses anyway. The original plan did not have chlorination equipment in the well houses, which is necessary to start oxidizing that iron as it makes its way from the well houses to the treatment plant. Good news is yesterday morning, 2-3 weeks after I sent the application into IDEM, I did get an email that they received it and it was determined as initially complete, meaning we had everything that they want to look at. So now they've actually started the detailed review. So while they're working on that, we have started on the final design and permitting to get that pipe to both well 8, the treatment plant, and well 9 in those rear yards before the houses start building.
Right.
So we are, moving on.
So maybe April of next year, we can have water flowing?
Well, like with anything these days, lead time on materials is going to be kind of the driving factor. I know Austin, we've been working directly with them. They are starting to source some of the panels and electrical equipment, but big ticket items like NIPSCO's transformer and the generator, those are really going to drive the schedule. But just based on recent experience with IDEM, they do turn around comments fairly quickly. I think it was probably 3-4 weeks when we were doing the altitude valves and the filter media by the time we submitted and got comments. So we'll be ready to just
Yeah,
turn them
and
right
going back to that permit, I think we did have that set up where we had met in the treatment plant, and that pipe was going to come up to a certain point, and that's why we bought the pipe when we did, the town, and it just kind of sat there. And
Yep, we are planning on using that pipe. We'll probably replace the rubber gaskets inside of it, but
Okay.
there's no reason that the pipe itself can't be used.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I just have one question. I had a resident reach out to me and asked, because of the actions that were taken earlier, if we've actually received the 40 acres. Are we supposed to get that 40 acres from Mr. Lawton?
I was going to speak to that,
Okay,
Jerry.
thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Anyone else? And Jerry, this is the deed I have right here for the 40 acres.
Yay.
So I have the deed to the 40 acres located at 231 in White Oak. And this is being donated to the town of St. John by LBL Developers. And I'd just like to read something here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I come before you today to express our heartfelt gratitude to LBL Developers for their remarkable generosity. The donation of 40 acres of land is not only a testament to their commitment to our community, but also a significant contribution that will benefit our town for generations to come. The shared vision by the newly seated town council members and LBL Developers is helping to foster a vibrant and sustainable community which is truly commendable. I would like to recognize the outstanding effort and accomplishment put forth by the newly seated town council members, Wayne Pondinas, Ann Olster, Christian Jorgensen, and myself, after months of work. The 40-acre site was destined to become a residential development of 120 homes. The 40-acre site at White Oak and 231 is a parcel of property that the town has wanted to own for quite some time because of its strategic location next to Heartland Park and the ice arena. Our goal is to work together and build relationships for the benefit of the town. Instead of alienating developers and filing lawsuits, let's work towards a mutual understanding. This generous donation will provide us with the opportunity to develop new public spaces, enhance our recreational facilities, and preserve the natural beauty of our surroundings. It reflects your deep understanding of the importance of community and your willingness to invest in our shared future. On behalf of the Town Council, the Clerk Treasurer's Office, and the residents of St. John, we extend our deepest thanks. This contribution will have a lasting impact, enriching the lives of countless individuals and families, and we look forward to working together to ensure that this land is used to its fullest potential, creating spaces that inspire, engage, and bring joy to our community. Thank you once again for your outstanding generosity and commitment to our town. Your support is truly appreciated, and we are excited about the possibilities this donation will bring the St. John Town Council. And it's my understanding that since the early 90s, no parcel of land has been acquired by the town. And this is such a huge benefit. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, just to let you know, the deed, the sales disclosure form, and the title commitment has all been reviewed by legal and is appropriate to sign, execute, and take into inventory for the town.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Mr. Fentinoff. Item B, Town Manager.
So I have a couple things, Mr. President, but I forgot to bring this up while you guys were going through your votes. The Oral Surgery Center has an escrow check on file because of NIPSCO's lack of equipment. They weren't able to put the underground wiring in. They finally got word that they'll be there tomorrow, weather permitting. So I'm asking that we do not pull her check. And that's all.
Okay.
And then, obviously, we have the work that went on outside, the landscaping, the concrete, long overdue. So it's just a big plus to the look of the town. I think the town hall should be a model for everything else that we look at around, and being the first ones to, stand there and say, hey, this is what we would like to see the rest of the town look like. So I wanted to say thank you to the Public Works guys. They worked with the landscapers and got all this done pretty quickly. And then also our Google migration from half of us were on Office 365, the other half were on Google. That migration is almost complete. I know we have a couple that we still have to sign over and get them set up, but we'll be able to easily collaborate with everyone, share documents, and go through. So that's another plus.
Thank you for that, Billy.
No problem.
The landscaping looks outstanding. Clerk Treasurer, Beth?
Yeah, just a couple items. I wanted to quickly circle back to item B4 and make sure that I have the correct understanding of the potential economic development revenue bonds. I know Mr. Swets had mentioned that the town was borrowing the money. It's my understanding that these are developer purchase bonds. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the town is not borrowing money?
Right, those are developer bonds for.
They're developer-backed bonds?
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure
For units
that.
30, 31, and 17B.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think we understood that, most of us.
I wanted to make sure that my understanding
I
was correct.
appreciate that.
No, good clarification.
We did receive our email today from county, so our tax distributions are on their way. So as soon as we get those receipted, I will be sure to let you know. So that's a positive. No one wants to turn away the money. What else? Investments, a few investments matured, so we did reinvestments. As soon as we close out June, I'll make sure to send out a memo so that you guys know what our current investment holdings are. And I think just Freedom Fest is worth mentioning. That's on July 5th. It's at Heartland Park. We start at 3 o'clock, fireworks at 9:30. In the water bills, everybody will have a little flyer inviting you personally to attend the 3rd Annual Freedom Fest. I know many departments have worked really hard on this year's festivities. It should be a good time. Midwest Ice Arena is taking care of the beer tent. So we thank them for their partnership in this event, and we have a few good bands. We have High Street and Final Say. So anyone who's a band person, we've got some good ones this year. 20 food vendors, bounce houses, face painting, carnival-style games. So hope to see everybody out there.
Sounds exciting. And thank you for that, Beth. Glad you mentioned the July 4th Freedom Fest. Thank you. And with that, item number 9, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are